They're selling my house right now, and I never said yes. Not once, not ever. 3 families I've never met are touring my grandfather's old cabin as I sit here in my truck watching strangers wander through the living room I grew up in, talking like they already own the place. There's a realtor out there named Brad waving around some paperwork and pretending I agreed to let the HOA sell my cabin, but let me tell you, I never signed a thing, never even talked to anybody about selling. And I'm thinking, is this even legal? Would you just sit and watch if someone tried to sell your house right out from under you? Because what I did next, well, let's just say nobody saw it coming. Let me back up a sec. Yesterday morning, I was drinking coffee on the porch of that old cabin. Nothing fancy, roof needs fixing, porch squeaks like crazy, but it's mine. My grandfather built it back in '87, and after he passed 3 years ago, I made it my own. I spend my days restoring furniture, streaming to a couple thousand followers online, enjoying the quiet. Never mentioned selling, never listed it. So imagine the shock when I find my own cabin listed online for $380,000, voluntarily part of some Pine Ridge HOA community improvement program. The listing had photos shot from the road, fake HOA letterhead, and claimed I needed to relocate fast for neighborhood development. Thing is, I'd never even heard of that program. Worse, they'd already lined up 3 families for tours, people who drove in thinking this was the house of their dreams. So I called the number on the listing, and Brad picks up, "Oh, Mr. Wilson, everything's official. The HOA president signed off. You're part of the buyout program," he tells me, like he expects me to just roll over. Brad, I never agreed to anything, and I want this scam shut down right now. But Brad won't back down. He's got paperwork, 3 families scheduled for tours, and insists everything's above board. That's when I realize I'm not just dealing with a screw-up. This is fraud. I spent the rest of the day taking screenshots, grabbing every bit of fake paperwork I could find, and setting up my phone to live stream in case things got weird, because I just had a feeling they would. Fast forward to this morning, and here I am watching family number 2 walk around my porch talking square footage and renovation plans like I don't even exist. Brad's telling them I'm a motivated seller, the price is a steal, the HOA's working to improve property values, and so on. Meanwhile, the 3rd family shows up. All 3 groups drove rentals, by the way, which is odd, but I barely have time to think about that because I'm about to make my move. I hop out of my truck, chain in hand, lock the gate, and hold up a sign for my live stream, "Trespassers Trapped. Owner never authorized sale." The chat's going wild, donations pouring in. Everyone wants to see what happens next. Brad turns white as a sheet when he spots me. He starts babbling about his documentation, and the touring family is suddenly furious, realizing they've been lied to. "We drove 3 hours for this," the husband demands. "I'm sorry," I tell him, "but someone's scamming you. I never agreed to any of this." That's when Pamela Walker, queen of the HOA, shows up in a white SUV, sunglasses, clipboard, acting like she owns the place. "Isaac, what do you think you're doing? These folks have appointments," she declares, like I'm the one out of line. "Show me the document with my signature," I say. She starts rambling about community programs, but it's all smoke and mirrors. My live stream chat is eating it up. The donations keep coming, and suddenly I'm realizing this isn't just happening to me. Folks in the comments are sharing their own stories about HOAs trying the same scam. Brad finally produces the so-called owner consent form, and there's my signature, except it's not my handwriting. It's forged plain as day. I call him out. He looks closer, and you can see it hit him. He's just as much a pawn in this as the touring families. But here's the twist. All those rental cars, the mysterious way these buyers acted, and the professionalism of the documents. This is bigger than one rogue realtor or power-hungry neighbor. Someone's orchestrating the whole show. By the next morning, my live stream has exploded, over 50,000 views overnight. People everywhere are tuning in. Pamela isn't backing down, though. She calls an emergency HOA meeting, puts up a giant billboard, "Resident blocking community progress," with an arrow pointing at my property. She wants to paint me as the villain, but 2 can play that game. I build a big dry erase board at the gate, updating it daily with the truth: cabin not for sale. Pamela still can't produce my signature. I even post my property deed right there for everyone to see. Things get weirder. A black SUV with no plates circles my property all day. I catch people sneaking around at night bearing what looks like a GPS marker near my fence. My new security system catches Pamela coming by with surveying equipment in the middle of the night, and when Officer Morgan arrives, she claims she's doing community geological research. He confiscates her tools, tells her she's facing felony charges if she doesn't knock it off. Then comes the comedy act. Pamela's cousin Bob shows up, introduces himself as attorney at law, and serves me with a cease and desist order. He can't even pronounce it right. Officer Morgan checks his credentials. Turns out Bob hasn't practiced law in 20 years and got kicked out for filing false documents. Morgan tells Pamela and Bob they're risking felonies for fraud and asks to see all their paperwork. Morgan spots inconsistencies in seconds, different signatures, fake notary stamps, bylaws amended on a Sunday. Then he calls the real HOA board, and within the hour, Pamela's been removed as president. The new president, Helen Morrison, brings official letters stating the HOA has zero authority over my property. She even shows proof Pamela was getting paid $10,000 a month by a company called Mountain Resource Management, LLC. That's when I put it together. Mountain Resource is a subsidiary of Ridgeview Industries, the same mining conglomerate that tried to file mineral rights claims on my land 40 years ago. Turns out there's a fortune in rare earth minerals under my property. The shell company's fake buyers, all of it years in the making. The real boss isn't Pamela, it's Ridgeview. And when they realize the game is up, their VP calls me, offers $2.5 million cash, NDA the works. I tell him no deal. This land is my family's legacy, and I'm not selling out for any price. That's when things go truly off the rails. A text comes in, check your property tax records from 1987. Some secrets are worth more than any cabin. Turns out my grandfather bought this land knowing exactly what was under it, using skills he learned as a military geologist. He spent his life keeping it a secret, building the cabin as camouflage to keep greedy eyes away. Mrs. Harris. My neighbor gives me a safety deposit box key inside. Our detailed surveys, legal documents proving my family owns not just the land, but all mineral rights, and a dossier on Ridgeview's decades of shady dealings. I call a press conference, drop everything online. The story blows up, federal investigators swarm Ridgeview. Pamela gets arrested trying to flee the country. The entire HOA board is purged. My cabin becomes a local legend. I set up a nonprofit, the Morrison Foundation, using the mineral wealth for scholarships and land conservation, turning a tale of corporate greed into a legacy of community good. And yet there's always another twist. A drone hovers overhead, red light blinking in the dark, filming my land. Someone's still watching. Maybe the story isn't over, maybe it never will be, but if you ever find yourself fighting for your home against forces bigger than you, remember this: you stand your ground, you document everything, and you don't let bullies win no matter how much money's on the table. If this story got your blood pumping, or if you've been through anything like it, hit that like button, share your thoughts below. Do you think justice was served, or is the real fight just beginning? Your story might be the next chapter. Stay strong, y'all.